This is the start. Let me just close this up. I'm gonna put it here so you can enjoy it. Pretend we're reading the Amala records. Pretend that's what's happening. So. Smoke billows from the first floor of a house. After Blossom ran away to build a new life for herself, Buttercup and Bubbles followed suit. On the second floor, a window opens. Adult Buttercup, wearing firefighter gear, leaps out the window with a little boy in her arms. They fly down 20 feet and land gently. Enraged by the ignoble end of the PPGs, Buttercup sought anonymity. She moved to a small town in Oregon, shortened her name to B, and joined the fire department, convincing herself that she could be happy as a normal human hero. I thought you guys used ladders. If anyone asks, I did. Want to see me put the fire out with magic ice breath? The little boy nods, excited. As Buttercup inhales, another firefighter comes around the side of the house with a hose. Maybe next time. See you on a license plate. Bubbles 1. Affixed to a baby blue Corvette. Adult Bubbles, still wearing her signature pigtails, pops the trunk. It's full of Powerpuff Girls merch and a price list. Selfies, $20. T-shirts, $30. Selfie and shirt, $45. Bubbles went to Hollywood, hoping to capitalize on her childhood fame. After 2 stints in rehab and 3 failed reality show pilots, she had pivoted to direct sales. Bubbles announces herself to a pack of passing tourists. I'm Bubbles, from the Powerpuff Girls, the real Bubbles, unlike that Bobo knockoff Wonder Woman. Fake Wonder Woman, who looks really fake, turns and sticks her tongue out at Bubbles as the tourists flock to her. Blossom sits in a lecture hall, taking notes. As for Blossom, she attended an elite women's college in the Northeast, collecting degrees to cocoon herself from the harsh sting of the real world. It was effective. She spots a Powerpuff tattoo on the bicep of a classmate. Most of the time. 2021. If a 14-year-old wrote this, it would be charming. Alas, it did not. Blossom joins her adorable boyfriend Clive for breakfast. As Blossom enters, he puts a birthday hat on her head, smiling. After a decade of school, Blossom got a job at a Boston-area biotech firm where she met her boyfriend Clive. This morning, they're celebrating her 25th birthday, which is technically tomorrow. But tomorrow, Blossom has some out-of-state business to attend to. Ding! A reminder text from Spirit Airlines pops up on Blossom's phone. It's time to check in for your flight to Townsville, departing tomorrow, 8 a.m. She shudders. I don't want to go to Townsville. Hey, McLover, you're just in time. Clive rubs her shoulder warmly as he pours her coffee. After this weekend, you never have to again. Once you sign that document and collect your trust fund, you're free. Besides, you've been so excited to see your sisters after all this time. Maybe I waited too long. I've been so MIA. Buttercup and Bubbles talk all the time. Buttercup even went out to see Bubbles' one-woman show, Bubbles with a Chance of Bubbles. Does this hurt more than exercise? Maybe. Babe, you had a messed up childhood that culminated in a traumatic event. It's like your therapist says you needed to go out and make your own way in the world. For the sake of your mental health. I hope I don't have a panic attack while I'm there. If you do freak out, just do that exercise Dr. Pat taught you. Right? Visualize my inner child. She gazes into the middle distance, where her childhood self magically appears, waving to her reassuringly. Thanks for being amazing, Clive. I love you. Another text, this time from Bubbles to both Buttercup and Blossom. It says, Happy birthday eve, my babes. See you tomorrow. Blossom, soothed by her conversation with Clive, grins and texts back. Can't wait to see you guys. Seriously. After a beat, Buttercup texts, Me 3. It's gotta be super fun. Damn it, straight to hell, Gina. Jojo, now also in his 20s, sits in a well-appointed office. A plaque on his desk reads, Jojo Model, Mayor of Townsville. He reads through a report in front of his secretary, Gina. He has a pet monkey sitting on his desk, because of course he does. Why wouldn't he have a pet monkey? Yeah, they did. They did. This is just initial polling data. You've got time to pull ahead. Unlike our prodigal Powerpuffs, Mojo's son, Jojo, stayed in Townsville. Indeed, his dedication to the city had carried him all the way to public office. He was the youngest person ever elected mayor of Townsville. Unfortunately for him, a second term looks unlikely. I've delivered on everything I promised, except free gelato Fridays, and that's only because the perfect scoop turned out to be a front for meth trafficking. What? Alicia Lawrence has no experience. She's impulsive and reactionary. She's exciting. You mean she's not a white man? Oh my god. You know, you hear about reverse discrimination, but until it happens to you... No offense, you totally earned your position. Optics don't hurt, though. What the fuck is that line? What the fuck is that line? Okay. There is one thing people love more than virtue signaling, Gina. Frozen desserts of Italian origin? No. Security. Safety. And I can provide that. Jojo feeds his monkey a treat. What is this? What am I fucking reading? I'm gonna read yours later, McClover, don't worry. Okay. With all due respect, Mr. Mayor, Townsville is a candy-colored bubble of privilege and comfort. Ever since the creature attack stopped, we're one of America's safest cities. I don't think people are voting from a place of fear. What about my pet monkey? That was meaningful in the last election. Post Harambe. No one cares anymore. I think part of my brain just leaked. I'm not sure how to process this. I need to read through all this. Go ahead and knock off for lunch. One more thing. The Powerpuff Girls are coming to town tomorrow. The color drains from Jojo's face. He's shaken. Tomorrow? All three? Just for the weekend. The Gazette called and asked for comment. Tell Frank I said no comment. That'll be all. Gina nods, exits. As Jojo mulls all of this over, his monkey screeches. It gives Jojo an idea. He picks up his cell, pulls up a contact, short stack. Hesitates for a moment, then dials. I need you. Buttercup exits with her duffel. We see Bubbles with her suite of luggage in line for an Uber. She's accompanied by a middle-aged guy with a camera. She spots Buttercup heading over. Here she comes. Start filming. Happy birthday, bitch! Oh, God. They hug happily until Buttercup notices the cameraman. What's with Al Maisels over here? Does he work for Bravo? No, I'm making a tasteful doc about my comeback/solo career, which starts with capturing our reunion. Which is kind of a big D. Oh, and this is my manager, Ace. Hey, when you say reunion, to be clear, you mean like our personal reunion, because you're not interested in a reteam or a reboot of the Powerpuff Girls, I know. Even though America would go ripshit bonkers for it, they would. Buttercup affectionately strokes one of Bubbles' pigtails. You haven't changed at all. Gotta stick to the character Bible. They smirk, but the looks they exchange are poignant. Poignant. Okay. Bubbles, Buttercup, and Ace ride in the back of an Uber. They pass the old Welcome to Townsville billboard, which now says Jojo Mondal, Mayor, with a smiling photo of Jojo. So Mojo's son is the mayor now. Remember what a huge crush he had on Blossom? Weird kid. Hey, you know who should we go see while we're here? Sarah. She was always so great to us. Dad blew that one. Yeah, now he just dates rando beaker bunnies and science hoes. Buttercup looks out the window and sees Townsville Gifts, a shop still selling Powerpuff Girls souvenirs. Look, they rejected us, but they're still hawking our merch. Pathetic. We put this town on the map, like the aliens in Roswell, or the witches in Salem. The car turns onto their childhood street. I can't believe Blossom is coming. She's been a total ghost aside from the obligatory holiday texts. Yeah, it's probably only because Dad made it mandatory for us to be here IRL to access the trusts. So what are you going to do with the money? Buy a little cabin, rescue a few schnoodles or doodles. I'm not a total cliché. I'm going to have chickens too. Suddenly, they look out the window, alarmed. What the fu- See Lumpkins. Okay, that's weird. We see a mob of people gathered near the Powerpuff Girls' childhood house. Some are press, some carry signs that say things like "No violence in Townsville." A scant few are fans. Dad alerted the press. The sisters get out of the Uber. The small crowd surrounds them, yelling questions. Are you here to start trouble, etc.? Are the Powerpuff Girls reteaming? Hell no. I'm not caping for Townsville ever again. I'm here to collect the debt, then I'm out. Throttle down, boo. Your Chemex is showing. Who is this? Reveal a cute little girl standing by the front door. Hello, I'm Henrietta. I'm a huge fan. Blossom is my favorite. But all of you are feminist icons. Thank you, cutie. Can I have a hug? Bubbles leans down to hug Henrietta. Buttercup notices a large, furry caterpillar on Henrietta's shoulder, arcing up towards Bubbles' ear. She instinctively swats the caterpillar into the bushes. Henrietta bursts into tears in full panic. That was my pet Gloria! What? Buttercup begins to mumble an apology as, Daddy! Camera shutters clicks as Drake opens the door to greet his daughters. Bubbles hugs him. Ace films. Girls! Buttercup strides past Drake, inside the house. As Drake shuts the door behind Buttercup and Bubbles. Dad, why'd you call the press? Blossom's gonna freak out and the last thing we need is another crack in the bell jar. Blossom's fine. I saw on her Insta that she has a boyfriend, I saw on her LinkedIn that she got promoted, and I saw on Facebook that she still talks to Grandpa despite their political differences. What the fuck? Coming back here is probably triggering for her. Why? Because she's the one who killed Mojo? I mean, moveon.org. Who wrote this? Why? That's not how people fucking talk. Oh, see, we hear a chair squeak. It's Blossom sitting at the kitchen table. Awkward. Ace turns to Drake, extends his hand. I'm Ace, Virgo Management. Drake shakes his hand as Blossom rises to greet her sisters. Come here. Buttercup and Bubbles come in for a long, strong group hug. Drake watches them, pleased. Then he turns to Ace, who has temporarily lowered his camera to observe the reunion. You getting this? The sisters sit on one side of the dinner table, Drake on the other. The room is full of birthday balloons. Ace films. I can't believe you girls are 25. Wow, 3 Bs, back in Townsville. It'll be nice to catch up, huh? Blossom is looking at the red phone, on display in a glass case like a museum piece. She starts downing a glass of wine. Yes, and it will be nice to collect the money we sold our childhoods for. When do we sign? You loved being a Powerpuff Girl. It's not like we had a choice. Bloss, you loved it. You were always the first one out the door when that alarm went off. Ah, yes, the alarm. I'm sure there's no use for it now that the scariest thing in Townsville is Hobby Lobby. Actually, I didn't want to bring this up yet, but I have reason to believe that the darkness may be returning. A darkness may be returning. Dad, you don't mean like monsters? Blossom begins to hyperventilate. It's a panic attack. I think the city may need the Powerpuff Girls again. Off Blossom, losing consciousness. Bloss? What the fuck? In an apartment, we see Henrietta seated at a child-sized desk. She repairs the woolly bear caterpillar we saw Buttercup swat away earlier. The caterpillar is a robot. Revealed there are hundreds of robot pillars crawling around the room. Henrietta cranks the volume on her record player. Hey, turn it down! Sorry, Mr. Carruthers. Henrietta pushes one of her woolly bears through a wall vent. Mr. Carruthers, Henrietta's neighbor in the 50s, watches UFC on his couch. The woolly bear emerges from his vent and traverses across the couch cushions before crawling into his ear. Mr. Carruthers shakes his head at first, then quickly settles into his new normal, a strange yellow glint in his eyes. Glowworm continues to play faintly as we end Act 1. That was horrible. And horrifying. That was genuinely fucking disturbing. Okay, what the hell did you give here? Okay, this is fairly short. Alright, let's see. Hogwarts, School of Prayer and Miracles by Proud Housewife. That's a lot of comments. Let's see. Hello, friends. My name is Grace Ann. I'm new to this whole fan fiction thing, but recently I've encountered a problem that I believe this is the solution to. My little ones have been asking to read the Harry Potter books, and of course I'm happy for them to be reading, but I don't want them turning into witches. So I thought, why not make some slight changes so these books are family friendly? And then I thought, why not share this with all the other mommies who are facing the same problem? So, ta-da! Here it is! I am so excited to share this with all of you. So, without further ado... Okay. Once upon a time, there was a little boy named Harry Potter who lived under the stairs in a house on Privet Drive with his aunt and uncle. He was a good, obedient boy who did all his chores, but he felt that there was something missing in his life. Something big and special, but he could not quite name it. He stayed up every night and wished for this special something. But then one day, there was a knock at his door, and everything changed. "Answer the door, Harry!" His Aunt Petunia, a career woman, barked from her armchair where she sat with her feet up. She had short, curly blonde hair and never wore any makeup. Uncle Vernon nodded sheepishly from the kitchen and put a tray of moist, chocolatey brownies in the oven. "Shouldn't you be doing that?" Harry thought. But he was a very obedient young boy, so he answered the door right away. He turned the brass metal doorknob and pulled open the heavy wooden door. On the porch was standing a huge, muscular man with a big, manly beard, and he was dressed in a plaid red shirt, blue jeans, and sturdy leather boots. His chest was covered in a thick, unruly carpet of coarse brown hair. He wore a necklace that looked to Harry like a lowercase t. Just looking at Harry felt happy, peaceful somehow, but he couldn't say why. "Good morning, kiddo," the man greeted amiably and smiled at Harry. He had the peaceful, friendly sort of face you just knew you could trust. "My name is Hagrid. Could I speak to your mommy and daddy?" "I don't have a mommy or daddy," Harry replied sadly, and looked at his raggedy old shoes that were blue. Perhaps that was why he felt so lonely, he thought, not for the first time. Maybe that was what he was missing, a mommy and daddy. But no, that was not quite right. "I'm so sorry to hear that," Hagrid uttered emphatically. "You can speak with my auntie and uncle," Harry retorted politely and blinked his big, blue, childlike eyes. "What do you want?" Aunt Petunia peered out the door with her narrow, suspicious eyes, and she was wearing a baggy, unflattering pantsuit. "Hello, neighbor. I was wondering if you have been saved," Hagrid exclaimed brightly, and tipped his wide-brimmed straw cowboy hat. Aunt Petunia laughed a gravelly laugh and leaned forward on her sturdy, practical boots. "Saved? Don't tell me you are one of those Christians." Harry did not know what that word meant, but Hagrid's smile was the most peaceful smile he had ever seen. It made Harry feel warm and happy inside, just seeing the glowing, radiating grin on the kind, friendly stranger's face. He wondered why Aunt Petunia and Uncle Vernon did not smile like that. "Yes, I am," Hagrid replied kindly. "Are you?" Aunt Petunia laughed again and stuck her pointy, sharp nose up in the air. "We are too smart for that. Haven't you read Dawkins? God is dead. Dawkins proved that. Would you like us to educate you on the Dawkins?" "What is a Christian?" Harry queried innocently, and scuffed his shoe on the shaggy yellow carpet which had not been vacuumed in quite some time. "Christians are people who want to be good," Hagrid explained wisely, and crouched down so he was on eye level with Harry. "We want to go to heaven after we die. Do you know what heaven is, Harry?" Harry shook his head, and his big eyes were wide and curious. "Heaven is a beautiful place where we can be with God." Aunt Petunia smacked her hands over Harry's young ears, and her voice was sickly sweet when she said, "Thank you very much for your concern, sir, but he does not need your religion. He has science and socialism and birthdays. Haven't you heard of evolution? I have a very good textbook on evolution that I could give you on it, if you would like to learn things." Hagrid laughed wisely. "Evolution is a fairy tale. You don't really believe that, do you?" "Yes, I do," Aunt Petunia screeched. "Well then, prove it." Aunt Petunia could only stare at him, and her big mouth hung open dumbly. Here she thought she was so educated, and always demanded that Christians prove what they believed in, but she couldn't even prove her own religion. It was then that Harry knew who the smart one here was. "Tell me how to get to this heaven place," Harry cried wistfully, clasping his hands together. Sometimes the wisdom of little ones is really amazing. We think we grown-ups know it all, but then God speaks through the mouths of little ones, and shows us how we are all mortals struggling along the path of life. Humility. All you have to do is be saved. Do you want to be saved?" I do, Harry squealed, jumping up and down. "Then pray the sinner's prayer." Aunt Petunia tried to stop him, but she was powerless against Harry's pure, innocent, holy energy. Soon, Harry had said the prayer. Hagrid beamed happily. "You're a Christian now, Harry," Hagrid cried proudly. Harry smiled, but then interrogated. "But how do I be a Christian? I don't know how." Hagrid grinned widely. "There's only one place to learn that. Hogwarts School of Prayer and Miracles." So, what do you all think? I may not be a professional writer, but I think I'm being given the talent to pull this off in service of a greater mission. Blessings, Grace Anne. That's good shit. Hey, Starixus. Hi. Yeah, you can redeem... I can read anything, basically. It's a thing you can redeem. Typically, people redeem something shorter. But when it comes to my simps, I let them do something longer. You missed me reading the Powerpuff Girls pilot. You missed that. We have one more thing to read as well. And yes, the fanfiction tried to line socialism and evolution together. Yes, it did. Because it's fanfiction made by a Jehovah's Witness or something. So, I love you too, Phantom. I know. Okay. Now I'm reading McClover's thing, but that's in chat, so I can't show it on screen. This should be self-explanatory, but apparently I have to justify myself. There's nothing more feminine than using a product on your body. Makeup is 100% feminine, and by the same logic, so is wiping your ass. I haven't wiped my ass in about 4 years, and I've never had any issues. My digestive system is in the top 1% in terms of regularity, functionality, and performance, and I've never once felt the need to clean up after myself. If you shit and you need to wipe, you've got an emasculated GI tract, and that's your own issue. Man up and get your shit literally together. Where the fuck did you find this one? What the fuck? Holy shit. Oh my god. Yes, yes. It's funny. Okay, I'm drinking something after this. Should I just save this highlight and put it on YouTube? And have people like stumble into this? Like I will mark the video as a Nocturne Let's Play, and then people open it and they see me reading fucking Powerpuff Girls and a Christian fanfiction of Harry Potter. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that shit. As soon as we're done with the stream today, I'm gonna do that shit. That's like a mega troll. Right. Better than the PPG shit? I mean, technically yes, because at least it's honest. The PPG shit is like... Good lord. Yes, by that logic, don't use soap. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That was the SMT5 ending. Demi-Fiend comes to fucking Mastema and says, "How can I be a law person?" And Mastema says, "Just be saved by Yahweh. That's how it works. Everything's fine." Mastema going, "You're a lawman now, Demi-Fiend."